from Brazil. I'm Ariel, as you can see. And well, in here it's still morning, so good morning or good afternoon to you.
No, morning, 10 o'clock, 10
Okay.
a.m.
We don't have much time, so I'm gonna jump into the questions.
Please.
So it has happened like on the first movie, and now in Another Simple Favor. I feel like watching the scenes. Their clothes are a character too. They're a huge part of their personalities and the story. They're really important for the narrative. And I really like how they highlight the contrast between the characters, like between Emily and Stephanie, and now in this new movie between Dante and Chan too. And I'd like to know what changed from your inspiration and your creation process from the first movie to this one. Now that we know a little bit more about their stories and where they're made of, where they come from, and what they did on the first movie.
Well, when we were going to do the sequel, it was very clear that it was 7 years later. Emily had gone to prison. Stephanie's book has sort of floundered. Mm-hmm. And the premise for this movie was very, very different. It was going to be a wedding, an over-the-top wedding that would take place in Capri, Italy, and with a giant, powerful Italian family throwing it. She was going to marry a powerful Italian husband, and she goes to Stephanie and says, out of the blue, come be my bridesmaid. And so there's a lot of things, but because it was a wedding event, it had constraints. Oh my God, I'm packing this bag and I'm going to go and be in this wedding. And so Emily's character, of course, changes like 3 times a day. She just is, her character is intimidating and meant to keep people at bay. And all of the silhouettes and all of the sizes of things and all of the creative things were like both enigmatic, really powerful, and also puts people at a distance, which added to the tension with Stephanie. And it was interesting because when I was working with Anna and we were talking about Anna's character going, this mommy blogger, sort of slightly down on her luck, reluctantly going to this, both love-hate relationship with Emily, that she would pack a few of the right things to wear for the wedding and for the garden party, of course. But other than that, she was going to present in a really reluctant way. And so she was dressed, we dressed her in sweats and tied sweatshirts around her waist, sneakers. She just said, I'm never going to put on a heel. And like, this is my way to rebel, in a sense.
She was
I'm going.
I didn't even want it to be here. So
yeah, exactly. I'm invisible and petulant and sort of like, I didn't want to be here hiding.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because in many ways, all those big costumes that Emily wears, she's hiding as well. And the tension between the two are just created visually because one is so stylish and one is just mommy, sweatcore, whatever you sort of say. Comfortable, really.
Yeah.
She was very happy to be comfortable for a whole movie and not in here.
Also happened in the first movie. I was really anxious to watch the second one because I liked the first one. I watched when it was released back in 2018. And I feel like not only me, but everybody, these movies are a change of perspective in a genre that is usually portrayed by men in Hollywood. But it's a little bit different because they say like further from the male gaze. There are a lot of scenes in which, if it was like a traditional movie, they would be portrayed differently. I feel like watching as a woman, I felt this difference, and I'd like to know if you thought about that too when creating their wardrobes, because even when Emily is wearing a sexier outfit, it doesn't feel like too heavy. It doesn't feel like too provocative. It matches her personality and her character, and it's beautiful to see. And I like to know if that was actually a preoccupation from the movie team, and to tell this story in a different way from the other movies we are more like used to watch.
I think that that's a great observation. I think we established that with a sort of gender bending first movie with the costumes. And the gaze seems to be, and the combination, the gaze is woman to woman. The fascination is between the two women, and the tension and whatever's happening is really that. And I think yes, it's not sexualized in any way for a male gaze. You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that, it's both provocative. And I think women are always very, very curious about what another woman wears. I mean, we all know that. We all do that.
I really like especially the fact that I could see myself. I was way younger when I watched the first one. It was like 2018. I feel like I could see myself in both of them. Like I like to wear Emily's clothes, and when I looked at Stephanie, I was like, okay, maybe this might be my future, but it's not bad too. I feel like the gaze between them, it's also a great gaze for us as women to watch.
Yes, I would hope that. I mean, we talk about influencers all the time now, and movies really, really do that. And I think that, I say this all the time, and I wish I could think of another word to say it, but all of the movies that I've done, I'm very, very interested, even if it's a regular, let's say, quote, normal character, there's a piece that is very important to impart, which is something that is aspirational. I feel as though when we watch a movie, we want to identify and we want to be those characters. Well, I'd like to be that, or in that scene, I'd like to wear that. And I think that, that noticing that is thank you. I thank you for that, and thank the audience, because that is what I wanted to have portrayed, something that you can aspire to.
Yeah. And I really think that also happened in this new movie. Even watching the trailer, like in the first scene, Emily appears when Stephanie's reading her book. The first thing of Emily we see is her shoes. And when I watched that, I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Right. She's back. She's here again. Right. Now, considering this new movie, how did you use their clothes to highlight the changes from the narrative? Like, is there something we need to be eagle-eyed to catch on the screen? What we cannot miss is there like in their own narratives, like Stephanie being Stephanie, Emily being Emily.
I think that there's less of a chance to take the costumes on an arc, which sometimes we do when we tell a longer story. We did that in the first one because it took place over maybe a month storytelling wise, right? This takes place over a 4-day period in which it can be as heightened as it can be, and it can be as much, it can explain things very literally what's going on. What happens here is that there's many behind the scenes that, she plays her sister as well. And her sister almost has two pieces of sort of the coin, the sort of doll-like and the sort of evil person, so there's subtlety, and there was a lot of energy in that, which hopefully will be caught. But because it takes place in this shorter amount of time, it was meant to be very bold, very in your face, very glamorous. And that was its intention. So the subtlety, I think, would be in the characters that Emily winds up playing. And then there are flashbacks that are subtle also.
Mm-hmm.
the story of all of the sisters.
Is there any fun or unexpected story, clothing related, to tell about the backstage? Did something?
Yes, I can tell you something that was harrowing. I mean, there were many harrowing things, but one was the first day of shooting. We were on the Isle of Capri, and we had gotten a very beautiful suit from a designer, Tamara Rolfe, in London. The beaded one that she arrives in Capri in a boat. And the hat didn't come. And so we had to get somebody to fly up to London, fly down to Naples. We had to get somebody off of the Capri Island and arrive back at 6 a.m. with the hat so we could shoot.
Oh my God.
Just a little.
Troubling, but it's Emily.
It's Emily, well worth it. And drama is what we deal with. So that was fun and funny.
Yeah.
And also like hair raising for us.